Hello, how you doing? I feel like I should be whispering. Something quite eerie about this place. Although it's kind of, I don't know, it's just because of the way that the trees are so overgrown. We're off to see another ruined church. We're in Bedfordshire, we're in Clophill, and I want to take you along and I want to show you it, I want to share it with you. So come along with me, and if you love ruins and you love churches, brilliant. And if you love both at the same time, even better. Let's go.
For me, the ruined church of Clophill, otherwise known as the Old Church of St Mary the Virgin, is one of the rare occasions when, for me, the folklore and events, good and bad, that have happened at this church outweighed so much of the history that I couldn't simply just focus on the church's historic origins. Although the foundations of the church date to the 10th century, it was heavily rebuilt around 1350, and as with many churches, it had seen many changes throughout its lifetime. But it was by the 1820s that the church's seating capacity had become insufficient, as well as the location of the church not being central to the village. And so it was decided to build a larger new church, which was built in the centre of Clophill, of which it still serves. And the old church for a while was being used as a mortuary chapel for the graveyard. But as mentioned, the story of this church ruin has a much darker past, unlike any I've ever recorded. With most ruined churches in my life I've explored, there's always been paranormal or rumours of occult practices being taken place. But with this church, when doing my research, it would have been so easy to fall down the rabbit hole and would have served for another video all on its own. So, in brief, it was in March 1963 when the church had been a victim of satanic practices, when graffiti and several graves had been damaged. But even more horrific were the bones from one of the graves being placed in a ritualistic fashion, with the skull being impaled on a spike. This led to a period from the 1960s through to the 1970s when bones had been dug up and scattered across the church, and the graves being heavily damaged, which, as you can imagine, has led to many rumours and paranormal tales. The sad truth is that this once beautiful church is now more well known for its paranormal history than anything else. But either way, as a ruin, it still remains a thing of beauty, and hopefully with its Grade 2 listed status, it can be a historic reminder for Clophill and its county of Bedfordshire for many more years to come.
Right, so here we are. The amazingly beautiful church that is just, the scenery is absolutely incredible. I just want to point it out straight away. This is a Commonwealth gravesite, but what makes it really just incredible is, again, in Bedfordshire, you've just got this amazing amount of landscape that's here, like true agriculture and farming as far as the eye can see. And again, out of a familiar sort of distant rumble of traffic in the background, but what an incredible thing. So let's have a look. Very small church really. Now you can arrange to go up to the tower apparently, and there's a sign there and it says "To the Glory of God" on it. Joint run by Clophill Heritage Trust, I think it is, an English heritage, so it's a joint project. It does say very specifically no drones and no photography for commercial use, so I think we're alright, because I make no money from what I do, and I'm not taking photos really. So, tiny church, tiny, tiny, tiny. But as I always say, it's what's left that's here which makes it even more special and incredible. Looks like a bird nesting up there. Loads of security cameras down here. I feel like for once I'm being watched more than anything else. It's really weird. It's quite sort of, they're very protective of this place, which is great. There's a little sign there. It says St Mary's Old Church, Clophill. So what's interesting is that you can see it's run by Historic England, the Architectural Heritage Fund, REN, Central Bedfordshire Council, the FCC Environment, and then this is what I was saying, but it's managed by the Clophill Heritage Trust. But then, if you go over here, it says it's a protective site, English Heritage, Bedfordshire Police. There's a sign here saying 2014 Clop Heritage Trust, and obviously this is where you'd arrange to visit to walk up. Images are being recorded for the preservation of, it says on there. How worrying. Don't think I've ever been, like I said, genuinely to a place where I genuinely feel like there's more eyes on me that unnecessarily. But then I suppose they don't know what I'm doing really. I can't believe how small it is though. Again, you know, when you visit a place you're obviously constantly reminded of size and scale, but you know, amazing really. The colour of the bricks is absolutely fantastic. I mean, you can see it's like this sort of like dirt brown, if that's coming out in the camera. Then looking down, wow, it's still very beautiful though. Right, so we're just sort of taking a walk around the outside of it now on the opposite side. And as you can see, you can't fault it for how clean it is. You know, it's perfect. Like I say, if you do want to visit it, I'd thoroughly recommend it. I mean, even though it's small, it's a wonderful thing. The only downside is that parking. It's taken me a good, I don't know, maybe it's 20-minute walk. It's not that much, but you can't park anywhere close. And they're really big on the sort of eco site that's over there, that obviously that's their lodging and everything else, and I think this is sort of semi-tied in with that, which is brilliant. I mean, I'm not going to complain about that at all, because I think it's really cool. But yeah, it's such a strange site. I don't think I've been to a place before really where, like I said, the amount of cameras that are here feels very intimidating. It really does. Sort of like, it's I don't know, it's really odd. I don't like the feeling of sort of having like millions of cameras pointed at me just for the sake of the potential sake of me trying to trash it. I don't know, I've got mixed feelings on it, really do. I understand it, I appreciate it, but you know, two little love hearts there, isn't that cute? Little bit of graffiti. Well, I suppose you call it graffiti, just carving it in. You know, but yeah, I love it. I mean, it is beautiful, and that is the one thing that, like I said, you know, take away the intimidation factor, the amount of cameras that are here, understandably, as I said, but it's yeah, I'd be interested in the comment section below what you think of the idea of this, because whether you think it's a good idea to have loads and loads of cameras here for the protection of the site, which again is understandable, but the amount of cameras, Okay, right, fair enough. You've got to cover every corner just in case. But as I said, like, really, the moral of this story is, as I always say on my channel, it's to encourage you lot to come out here and explore for yourselves, to really embrace history as it is. And I think really that's the moral of the story, isn't it? Is that we've got to embrace our history, we've got to love it, no matter how small or big or disused or ruinous or abandoned or whole as in like literally like a museum practically. Sites like this is still incredible and important, so there you go. Right, we'll walk one more time into it and I think we'll walk around it and then we're done. Okay, come on. Right, and then we're just going to walk around. I was tempted to show you the graves, but really you can see them, and I always feel like, you know, there is a sign there saying about the Commonwealth graves, and that is quite important. In fact, actually, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go down there. There is a lovely little path here that I'll just take you to this. Hey, you can get to see this. It's always good to read these information boards. Oh, it talks about the ball of geology. I was actually expecting it to talk about the cemetery, which is, I'm sure, just as interesting. What rocks do we live on? And there's by the tarmac company, who have, through donation, there you go, they've supplied you a diagram of the geology. It says there, like the Chilterns. There you go. And again, these graves. Oh, look at that. Pow, bang, boom, explosions everywhere, terrified and homesick, hunger and disease. Then you die. Then you died. Private Sydney Sharman, only 22, will remember you. There you go. Rowing class, November 2018, St Mary's Lower School, Clophill. I love that. That's really nice. Poignant message. So part of the whole Commonwealth grave site that's here. Beautiful. I mean, like I said, for its size, it's so beautiful. Clearly such a shame. They were saying, I think, in 2010 that from what I remember, was that in 2010 it was, by that point it had been fenced off, the whole site, and it was rubble and masonry, the usual sort of stuff that you'd expect, which is so sad really. But we look here as well, something I wanted to point out, nice little sort of, well, cool, blimey, I'd say the hay bales, but I think they need a little bit of a trim. I'm assuming people could sit around maybe. That squirrel, now you haven't seen this, you see that there's a squirrel there, he's been having the best time of his life since I've been making videos. He's jumping across those tombs, them gravestones, loves it here. There's another one. I love all this, it's amazing, isn't it? Brilliant. Well, as I stand in front of this amazing ruined church here in beautiful Bedfordshire County, thank you so much for coming along with me. Be interested to see what your thoughts are on a place like this. I'm sure some of you might have mixed feelings, or you might be like me in terms of it's a necessary evil. I think that's the conclusion I'm coming to. But yeah, stay tuned for some more incredible videos. Thank you as always for watching. In the immortal words of Phoenix History, look after yourselves, take care, because history matters. Really does, doesn't it? It's so important, and like I said, if it has to be this way to preserve the history, fantastic. If it shines a light and if it encourages some of you lot to come down here and just have a look at it, if you're in the area, go for it. I would thoroughly recommend it. Take care, look after yourselves, and I'll see you all very soon. Goodbye. Kapow.